Our next guest, general contractor Tom Silva, put their skills to work. When it comes to home renovations, there is only one name that stands out. Tom Silva is the famous Tommy from this old house. Many of us have spent countless hours watching Tommy and his team work their magic on broken down homes, turning them into. Tom's professional adventures are well known, but fans are curious about what he does in his personal life when he's not working. What strange things has this renovation icon done? Has he found new ways to share his decades of hard-earned knowledge? Join us as we find out what really happened to. From a young age, Tom Silva from Ask This Old House seemed destined to become a home renovation superstar. The famous carpenter from this old house was born on January 17, 1947 in Lexington, Massachusetts. His father, Richard, was also a carpenter, so Tom grew up around construction. Growing up, Tom Silva had one sister, two brothers, and lived with his family in a very old colonial house that was built in 1787. Instead of being scared of the house's advanced age, Tom and his siblings saw it as their first chance to get hands-on construction experience. In a move that seems unthinkable now, the rowdy Silva kids decided to build their own fallout shelter under their old house. Having a personal bomb shelter during the tense Cold War era, when threats of nuclear attack were high, gave many Americans peace of mind. Of course, a group of kids building an underground bunker sounds like a disaster waiting to happen, but the Silva brothers showed that they could handle big construction projects at a very young age by learning by doing and reading books. Tom and his brothers worked hard and were able to build their fallout shelter. Hopefully, it will never have to be used for its intended purpose, but the subterranean sanctuary was the start of Tom's lifelong love for building. The Silva family's Cold War home quickly turned into something much bigger. Tom and his nephew Charles started a real construction business called Silva Brothers. Construction, the two worked on a variety of home projects for paying customers to improve their carpentry skills. When they got their first big job, building the set for the famous TV show Victory Garden, it put Silva Brothers on the map. Construction was put on the map in a big way all of a sudden, and Tom's skills as a no-nonsense, get-it-done carpenter made him known as one of the best in the business. Around the same time, in the mid-1980s, an important person noticed a renovation project that Tom's crew was working on and immediately recognized Russell Morash, creator of the popular TV show This Old House, as the kind of talented, take-charge contractors he wanted. In 1988, Tom Silva officially joined the cast of This Old House as its new lead contractor. He would promote traditional home improvement values on his show. Tom's rise from a regional construction company owner to a nationally famous TV star began with his quick wit, self-deprecating humor, and contagious love for historic preservation. Tom's love for building began when he was young, but how did he turn that into a career? Zeal into a thriving construction business. Let's learn about the Silva Brothers construction empire. While Tom Silva became famous and successful on the TV show This Old House, he grew up in the rough-and-tumble world of home construction. Tom and his nephew Charles were busy building the foundations for their own bold company, Silva Brothers Construction, long before they became well-known. Tom's first business ideas came from building things with his brothers in the backyard when he was a kid. As a young man, it didn't take him long to realize that he was meant to work in the construction industry because he was naturally good at it. Because of his father's work as a carpenter, Tom and Charles decided not to go straight to established companies to find work as carpenters. Instead, they chose to buck. They broke the rules and started their own business from scratch. They were young and full of ideas, but they had never run a business before, so they had to learn as they went. It was hard to get their first big client in those early years. However, the pair's hard work and persistence paid off in a big way when they were hired to build the set for the long-running PBS show Victory Garden. Their big break came when they were asked to build impressive outdoor sets under tight deadlines. Their careers would move quickly in the future. The Victory Garden project gave Tom and Charles a chance to show off their skills on a bigger stage, but it was only a taster of an even bigger chance that was on the way. It was right around the corner that would change their lives forever. As we already said, repair expert Russell Morash led the way in making this old house in the late 1970s. As the show became more popular over the next 10 years, he was always looking for skilled tradespeople. People who were thoughtful and practical in their solutions for homeowners. It just so happened that the Silva brothers construction crew was hard at work remodeling a house, while Morash was looking for new, skilled builders. Right in front of him, Morash was impressed by how well the crew worked together, how well they solved problems, and how much they cared about preserving the character of older buildings. Seeing great potential, Morash made the brave choice to bring Tom with him. Charles and his team joined this old house as the show's official building partners going forward. Suddenly, the Silva brothers' new business was thrust into the national spotlight in a big way, especially for Tom. Getting a permanent part on this old house was the result of years of hard work perfecting his carpentry skills, his charisma on camera, and his ability to explain complicated things. Over Tom's many years on this old house, he quickly became a fan favorite. In many ways, he became synonymous with the show itself. His hands-on leadership during renovations and deep well of experience turned countless run-down old houses into beautiful remodeled homes filled with charm. Even though Tom's fame grew thanks to these amazing changes, he would be the first to take all the credit for the show's success in his typical humble way. Tom probably would say that the whole team and production crew of this old house were just as important to the show's success as he was. However, there's no denying Tom's central part in making the Silva brothers construction company famous. Along with this old house, it became a household name. What started as two scrappy young builders following their passion turned into one of TV's biggest renovation franchises. Not bad for two kids who used to build bomb shelters in their backyard, right? Tom Silva and his nephew Charles had been working as regular construction workers for many years, trying to make a name for their small company, Silva Brothers Construction. Little did they know that their lives were about to change in a big way. A well-known person noticed their skills. That person was Russell Morash, who created and ran the very famous home improvement show This Old House in the 1970s, MASH had the idea to make a TV show that would teach regular people how to maintain and fix up old houses. From its humble beginnings on Boston's WGBH public television station, This Old House quickly became a national phenomenon. Viewers were captivated by the show's simple but powerful premise: take a rundown fixer-upper and renovate it room by room with the help of expert contractors. As the show became more popular in the 1980s, it featured tradespeople giving easy-to-follow instructions along the way. Morash knew he needed to put together a new elite team of renovation professionals to keep offering fresh, high-quality content season after season. When Marsh started looking for skilled, reliable builders who cared a lot about preserving historic building, he met Tom Silva and the Silva brothers crew. At the time, Tom and the Silva brothers were in the middle of remodeling an old house in a big way. One fateful day, Morash happened to drive by their work site and was immediately impressed by how quickly they worked and how much attention to detail they showed. He could tell these were passionate craftsmen who weren't just slapping together quick renovations but carefully restoring heritage homes with incredible skill. Morash didn't hesitate to approach Tom's team and ask them to become the official general contractors for this old house going forward. Tom, it was a dream come true to be able to blend his natural skills as a carpenter with his friendly, likable personality on camera. Tom went from being a recognized owner of a regional construction company to a full-on celebrity after appearing on This Old House. His humble, self-deprecating attitude and ability to explain complicated renovations in simple terms made him a star. From his very first episode in 1988, Tom became an instant hit with viewers. Over the next few decades, he became the face of This Old House, starring in countless jaw-dropping home transformations. His magic touch for taking rundown properties and turning them into stunning modern living spaces captured viewers' imaginations. Suddenly, building and remodeling projects that may have seemed impossible became possible thanks to Tom's expertise. Of course, Tom's rise to fame on This Old House wasn't overnight. It took a lifetime of hard work and persistence. As a child, he was always interested in working on home projects with his father and siblings. This early exposure to construction taught him values of craftsmanship and old-fashioned problem-solving that he carried with him when he started the Silva Company. Brothers Company with Charles gave Tom the chance to improve his renovation skills on real job sites where he had to manage work crews, coordinate subcontractors, and stick to budgets and deadlines every day. It was these kinds of challenges that made Tom a true construction professional, and he faced them over and over again during his long and difficult career on This Old House. Tom Silva has left an indelible mark on American architecture by saving many irreplaceable pieces from destruction. His unique vision for combining modern functionality with meticulous historical accuracy has given once-falling buildings new life as showpiece dream homes for lucky homeowners. Let's take a look at some of Tom Silva's most jaw-dropping renovations that made people's deepest home fantasies come true into reality. The Carlisle House is an 1820s farmhouse. This early 19th century farmhouse was in terrible need of a full-scale restoration when Tom and his crew first saw it. Years of neglect and exposure to the harsh New England weather had weakened the home's core structure, leaving it vulnerable to collapse. Tom took on the difficult task of replacing and strengthening the house's weak base, while keeping the house's original shape and style. He led his team in replacing the roof from top to bottom with long-lasting new materials, and the house's skeleton was strengthened. They fixed up the original woodwork, built-ins, and architectural details that take you back to a time when things were more carefully made. The Arlington Arts and Crafts House, as its name suggests, was an early 1900s estate that embodied the groundbreaking design principles of the famous arts and crafts movement, which praised handcrafted craftsmanship. Above all else, Tom had to respect those roots while making the aging home fit his clients' needs. Modern needs for more room and efficiency. To meet these needs, Tom oversaw an expansion that added a large addition to the back of the house to make a huge open-plan living area. He made sure it didn't look like a slapdash job, though. He made sure that all the new architectural features would blend in with the existing home style. His careful planning paid off with a layout that has a natural flow even though the house is now bigger. The energy efficiency upgrade also. It was hard to make sure that everything stayed in period with historical accuracy, but Tom came up with clever ways to add new roof insulation, HVAC systems, and electrical wiring without damaging any of the home's beautiful woodwork or built-in shelves. His careful attention to detail made sure that none of the home's unique arts and crafts legacy were lost in the move to modernity. The Lexington bed and breakfast may have. Tom's biggest professional challenge was this early 20th century bed and breakfast that needed a complete makeover from top to bottom. With so many guest rooms, grand staircases, and large common areas, there weren't many places that didn't need major structural repairs and a fresh look. Tom wasn't afraid to take on such a challenge. Tom led a multi-year project to rebuild the B&B from the ground up. Every piece of woodwork was painstakingly refinished or rebuilt to original specifications, and heavy timber beams were strengthened or replaced. The plumbing, electrical, and HVAC systems were all taken apart and put back together again. No corner was left untouched. This mission to protect the building's historic legacy required a huge amount of detailed restoration work, as well as careful space planning to make the most of rentable space. It was the ultimate test of Tom's unmatched skills, and in the end, the revitalized B&B emerged as a shining jewel, giving new life to what had been an endangered local landmark just years before. Tom's craftsmanship ensured that the Brookline mid-century modern home could continue its more than 100-year tradition of hospitality for future generations. Just when viewers thought they had seen Tom tackle every possible historic architectural revival, he wowed them again with this stunning overhaul of a 19th-century contemporary SL mid-century modern home. His ability to seamlessly blend eras showed no limits. The existing split-level home already showed many. Tom didn't get rid of the house's signature mid-century features, like vaulted ceilings, exposed beams, and walls of windows that let in lots of natural light. Instead, he built on them in a massive remodel that made the house feel brand new while still paying homage to its roots in the era. He added a whole new wing with soaring ceilings and sleek modern finishes that made the kitchen and living room feel much bigger. To make the new addition look like it had been there since the house was built in the 1950s, Tom carefully used the same aesthetic principles as the rest of the house. As hard as it was to build the addition, Tom also had to deal with another big problem. He had to carefully copy and preserve iconic mid-century elements like interior wood paneling, stained exposed beams, and built-in shelving. His team had to get every finish stain just right. Joint perfect to capture that classic mid-century look and feel. Their attention to detail paid off, making this a show-stopping addition to the neighborhood that left architecture fans in awe. The Jamestown Net Zero House, of course. Tom has been at the forefront of sustainable and energy-efficient new construction, as well as historic renovations in recent years. This state-of-the-art self-sufficient. The ambitious goal for the Net Zero House in Jamestown, Rhode Island, was to build a house that would produce as much energy as it uses in a year through solar power and extreme energy efficiency, a true net zero energy home. To reach this lofty goal, Tom took a whole house approach to sustainability. From laying the foundations to finishing the house, every material, technique, and piece of technology was looked at to see how it would affect the environment. For example, ultra-thick insulation cut down on heating and cooling needs, and high-tech, smart thermostats, and LED lighting kept electricity use to a minimum, and solar panels on the roof directed renewable energy production. Combining all of these cutting-edge energy solutions with warm, traditional New England-style architecture was one of Tom's hardest tasks to date, but his usual resourcefulness came through. And the result is a home that feels both comfortably classic and excitingly modern in its ability to run itself. It's a true testament to how heritage preservation and modern technology can live together thanks to excellent design and craftsmanship. These few projects are just a small sample of Tom Silva's huge collection of life-changing renovations for this old house. Over the course of his legendary more than 30-year career, he has saved many important pieces of US housing history from falling apart. His unwavering belief in the power of preservation combined with Tom's visionary building knowledge has made him one of the most talented architects of our time. He can handle even the most complicated renovations with ease. His friendly, unpretentious personality has made even the most difficult home projects seem doable to viewers for decades by breaking down each step in simple, easy-to-understand language. His gentle guidance has given generations of homeowners the confidence to go after their own renovation dreams. The construction mentor beyond just his amazing skills as a carpenter and contractor, one of Tom Silva's biggest addition has been being able to help and teach people who love home renovations. During his many years on this old house, Tom has shown that he has a real knack for taking complicated building ideas and making them easier to understand. Tom's first appearances on the show in the late 1980s were the first time people saw him. He had a natural care charm and down-to-earth personality that put fans at ease right away. Here was a real working-class tradesman who was incredibly in an era of home improvement TV personalities who could sometimes veer into unrealistic perfectionism or cheesy theatrics. Tom provided a refreshing dose of relatability. He was the friendly next-door neighbor who just happened to know everything about construction from the foundation to the roof and everything in between. Viewers could tell when he was going to give them advice. Tom was very approachable because he was honest about the fact that he was still learning and solving problems every day, even after decades of working as a builder. He never pretended to have all the answers, but instead showed viewers how he trusted himself to look at renovation problems and come up with solutions. Through methodical solutions, Tom would always make fun of himself for making mistakes along the way. His keen self-awareness and humility made an instant connection with the viewers of this old house. They saw that Tom wasn't just dedicated to restoring old houses, but also to preserving the blue-collar roll-up sleeve spirit of hands-on craftsmanship. His goal was to teach and give homeowners the confidence to do simple renovations themselves by walking them through the process step by step. Tom was at his best when he was taking viewers through the details of construction tasks that seemed hard, like repointing old brickwork, sistering a load-bearing wall, or reframing a load-bearing wall. He did this by using few words and simple visual aids to break the process down into manageable steps. Tom's magic was that he didn't use hard-to-understand building jargon but instead used everyday language that people could understand. He never talked down to the audience. Instead, he met them where they were. When slightly more technical terms came up, Tom made sure to clearly define them in layman's terms so they could understand without getting bogged down in the details. Personal stories and real-life examples from Tom's own job site experiences also helped make the point. Tom's less resonated with audiences by making clear connections to problems that any homeowner could face. Instead of lecturing, he created an interesting learning setting based on shared struggles and real-world problem solving. It helped that he was naturally comfortable in front of the camera. Unlike some people who look stiff or distracted in front of video crews, Tom carried himself with the easygoing confidence of someone who was just doing their job, not acting. His friendly facial expressions and body language invited viewers to join him on the trip, rather than making them feel like they were watching from the outside. Of course, Tom's unmatched building knowledge, which he gained by growing up on job sites and starting his own business, was the foundation of all of his on-camera lessons. Successful construction company. He was smart and skilled enough to be taken seriously, and people knew they were learning from a real professional who did renovation work every day, not just when TV cameras were around. Over the years, Tom's combined mastery of legions of dedicated home renovators have been inspired by Tom's clear tutorials, which made the process easy to understand for everyone from people who had never used a hammer before to experienced handymen. Tom's helpful advice kept people motivated and on track. Tom kept alive the proud American traditions of do-it-yourself self-sufficiency and the careful restoration of our country's classic old homes for future generations. In a time of disposable housing and bad work, he stood tall as a champion for doing things the right way through patience, care, and good old-fashioned sweat equity. Silva has established himself as a respected builder, a humble and hardworking craftsman dedicated to raising the standards of the trades and making sure that future generations enjoy the art and science of carpentry. He leaves behind a legacy of sharing knowledge freely, protecting architectural heritage, and giving everyone the tools to improve their own living spaces through high-quality renovation work is Tommy's many-faceted legacy. Even after more than 30 years as the reliable face of this old house, Tom Silva shows no signs of slowing down his amazing career. His impact has reached far beyond the popular home renovation show that made him famous. Tommy is a well-known figure today because he is an author, an advisor, a family man, and a smart businessman. While this old house will always be Tom's most famous work, he has many other talents as well. One part of a much bigger legacy he is leaving behind through hard work and an unquenchable desire to teach and improve his skill. Let's look at some of the other impressive ways Tom has left his mark. Like any good teacher and mentor, Tom knew that his lessons could help others. Spread far beyond TV to help even more passionate do-it-yourselfers. This made him a prolific writer and author over the years. Tom has also written a huge number of insightful pieces for This Old House, the official magazine. In these pieces, he broke down everything from advanced frame techniques to the newest, most innovative tools for home improvement projects. His clear, conversational writing voice became a useful way to expand on his on-camera advice. His writing career came to a head in 2000 with the publication of The Homeowner's Manual. Tom's first full-length book was published. This comprehensive guide was meant to take the guesswork out of caring for one's house through smart, ongoing maintenance practices, from the foundation to the roof and everything in between. Tom showed readers easy ways to extend their H's lifespan and catch problems before they become expensive nightmares. The Homeowner's Manual quickly became a must-have Bible for owners of old homes in particular who wanted to preserve their properties. Through proper maintenance, Tom's teachings stressed patience, attention to detail, and respect for historic architecture, the main ideas that had guided his entire career. His educational author works helped him share his vast knowledge of building with a wider audience, and he used his years of experience as a high-level advisor and strategist for big companies in the home industry. In 2021, Tom was named Senior Vice President of Marketing and Strategy by the Andersen Corporation, a major maker of windows, doors, and other building materials and tools for homes. In this important leadership role, Tom helps lead product development and innovation projects. Overall brand positioning to better serve both professional contractors and do-it-yourself homeowners. It's an honorable job that recognizes Tom's unmatched combination of real-world job site experience and natural charisma to connect with people from all walks of life. Andersen knew that Tom's name and advice hold a lot of power in the construction industry thanks to his decades of building an impeccable reputation. For all of his professional achievements and awards, Tom has stayed incredibly humble and grounded. This is thanks to his stable marriage to Susan for over 30 years and their loving family. The Silvas have 2 children, a son named TJ and a daughter named Kate. Even though Tom has become famous through This Old House, he has never let fame get to him and avoids the hassles of public life. The Silva family has chosen to live in a cute 19th century house in a suburb just outside of Boston, the same small town where Tom grew up. Because old habits die hard, Tom can't help but put his love for hands-on renovation work into his own hundreds-year-old home. He uses it as a blank canvas to try out new ideas and techniques while preserving its historic architecture and character through restoration projects big and small. For Tom, working on his house is like a basketball superstar practicing free throws in their free time. It's not just work, but also a fun way to keep improving your skills while living out your true calling. Tom's personal home projects allow him to live out the preservation principles he preaches to others.